What is up, guys? My name is Bryce Pruitt. This is the M1 Journey, and welcome to the channel. Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 14 of the M1 Journey. Back from the little Christmas vacation that I took last week off. So happy belated Christmas to all of you. New Year's is also this week, so hopefully we'll put an end to 2020 and kind of get going on 2021. Hopefully it'll be a much better, much more hopefully boring year where we don't have as much going on. But to all of you, thank you for your support in the first year of the channel. It really means a lot to me. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to check out some of my other videos I put out this year. And as always, like and subscribe. It means the world to me to have your guys' support. So I just want to put that out to you guys to say thanks. So yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since you guys had a M1 Journey video. Not a whole lot has happened. Kind of made 1 or 2 purchases. Got several dividends over the last 2 weeks, and we've seen kind of some stagnated growth, but today seems to be a pretty green day overall, so kind of get into that when we get into the update. So this week we'll be getting back to the regular schedule. So on Thursday will be my next Let's Discuss video. Gonna be talking about a individual stock. If you check out my Twitter, hopefully I've put out the poll by then, to where you guys can vote on for me to talk about either Coca-Cola, Microsoft, or Lowe's. So if you guys have particular thoughts about that or a preference, feel free to vote in the poll. The winner of that will be determined on Wednesday, and then the next day I will talk about whichever one you guys pick. So looking forward to talk about either the 3 of them. Should be a good discussion. But anyway, not really a whole lot new with the channel overall. Just really the same old stuff. Check out my Instagram and Twitter page at bpruitt_YT. Kind of get some of my thoughts there when I'm not making videos, such as last week when I didn't make any videos, but I still kind of shared some thoughts about this, that, and the other on those 2 platforms. So make sure to check those out if you haven't already. So that's about all I have for channel news. So we'll make my disclaimer and check out the portfolios. So guys, of course, I'm still just 20 years old. We'll be coming up on 21 here in the not so distant future, but for the time being, yeah, I'm just not a financial advisor. I'm just making these videos for your guys' entertainment purposes, just kind of a hobby for me. So please do your own due diligence and research before making any investment decisions. If it's your money, do what you want to do with it. Don't let me influence you one way or the other. But if you do have any questions for me, please share those down in the comment section. I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. I would love to help anybody get started investing, especially if they're new to it. In fact, if you haven't seen my last video I put out before Christmas, was actually the best holdings for a starter portfolio. So if you're a new investor out there and not really sure what companies you want to look at for a new portfolio, I highly suggest checking out my video, kind of help you along in picking some companies that you may like to invest in. So with that being said, we'll get ready to look at the portfolios. We're all kind of do my normal process of showing you some different things about what I've been doing, as well as dividends I've been earning. But I'm going to wrap up by talking about some of my personal investment goals that I have for 2021. Just 3 pretty basic goals that I have for myself. But I would love to hear what goals you guys have. So that will be my viewer question of the week is what investment goals do you guys have for 2021? So if you guys have any, please share those down in the comments. I love seeing your guys' responses. But with that in mind, we'll go ahead and catch up on what's going on with the portfolios. Okay guys, so here as you can see, this is the updated all-time chart on my long-term portfolio. So last time I made a video, we were right in here. So we've seen pretty steady increases since then. Some of this is due to me making a few deposits, making some purchases, but still, we've seen pretty steady growth, not quite as dramatic as what we've seen over the last 2 months or so, but nothing to be too anxious about. Here over the last week, pretty flat, but I mean, since it's the week of Christmas, you can kind of expect that. Not going to be too volatile around the holidays, especially unless we had good or bad news. Today is a green day, primarily just on the news that the president is signing the COVID relief bill. Investors were happy about that, so we should see a solid boost from that just probably today only. So as far as what has been going on with the portfolio, I've gotten several dividends since the last time I made a video, dating all the way back to the 14th. 3M paid me, and then I made a deposit the same day, a little bigger than normal, $175. And then what I did with that deposit is I made a purchase of Verizon, Costco, and Dominion. Dominion's really slumped over the last month or so, so bought a little bit more of that, bought some more Costco, and bought some more Verizon. So nothing too crazy there. The dividends continue to roll in, especially through the middle part of the month. McDonald's, Coca-Cola. For some reason, McDonald's paid me in the form of 2 payments. Not sure what that was about. Pembina Pipeline, as always, they subtract about a quarter. Realty Income, and then I made another deposit, $125, and that went towards McDonald's, Pepsi, and then again Verizon. So kind of picking up on some of these positions that haven't been growing as steadily as some of my others, but just trying to balance out the portfolio a little bit. So Waste Management and Dominion also paid dividends, and then I made another deposit and had 4 purchases that include Costco once again, Starbucks, just almost $5 worth, McDonald's, and Pepsi. So I was trying to balance out some of my consumer pies a little bit, in aims to eventually buy more Coca-Cola and more Lowe's, and then some more Starbucks. So that's really the aim of those purchases. And then got SPYD, which is one of my ETFs for the S&P 500, and then Bank of America. So that really wrapped up my activity over the last 2 weeks or so with my long-term portfolio. I did not make my bi-weekly deposit today. Kind of just wanted to hold off since I expect it to be a green day on the news of the COVID relief being signed, after initially thought it was going to be a little bit of a battle with Congress. But they got through, and I expected Wall Street to react positively to that, so which they have. Going on from there, I'll go to my Roth IRA. Things still looking good here, up about almost 11% all time, but over the last week we're up about 0.5%. Again, pretty level, nothing too up or too down around Christmas. So my activity is quite a bit shorter. Just like my long term, I got 3M dividend. Then I made I made a $100 deposit, which was not planned, but I saw a buying opportunity, so I made my 10 purchases there, because I always just let M1 auto invest in my Roth IRA. This was actually my bi-weekly deposit of $75, and then I got a dividend on Christmas Eve from my developed markets. It's kind of a focus on international markets and international stocks. That's what this ETF specializes in. Moving on from there is my aggressive portfolio. This is the new one that I just opened on the what day was it? The 14th, which was the last time I made a video. So stayed pretty steady until I made my $100 deposit. We are up a little over $5 so far, even though we're less than a month in. So not really any activity. Not going to really see dividends roll in on this one. I only have one stock that pays a very, very tiny dividend in this portfolio. But I did make a $100 deposit on the 23rd. and I just let it auto invest into its slice allocations, so really nothing too crazy there either. So the main point that I want to make in this is I'm going to talk about my investment goals for 2021, some different things that I plan on doing or hope to do if I can get to the levels that I'm aiming for. So my first investment goal of 2021 is to invest $10,000 across all 3 portfolios. This is something that I think should be relatively easy to do. I mean, luckily I've had some good fortune. Since July alone in this portfolio, I've invested over $10,000 in just my long term by itself. But I do expect 2021 will see things slow down for me a little bit. So I will probably pull back a little bit on investing so aggressively. A lot of this number was driven by the market being just so pummeled with the circumstances surrounding this year, with the pandemic and the economic crisis. So I don't foresee that I will be nearly as aggressive in 2021, but I'm still aiming for at least investing $10,000 across these 3 portfolios. And I think I can hit that number pretty easily just by doing a little bit of math. So right now I'm investing around $125 a week between my long-term portfolio and my Roth IRA times 52. So that's $6,500 on its own. And then I've also decided I will be contributing $100 a month to my aggressive portfolio. So that's another $1,200. So just with what I have scheduled to be invested, I'm looking at about $7,700 in investments just that are going to be recurring deposits that I already plan to make. And then an important note is I will also have about another $700 in dividends expected to come in next year, so I will add in $700. So even without really setting anything extra aside, I'm already looking at least $8,400 I will be investing next year. So that $10,000 mark should be relatively easy to clear. And then that, of course, that doesn't take into consideration that I pretty frequently make unscheduled deposits where I see opportunity, where I see different stocks being beaten up or really tanking, where I will buy up a little bit. But so that should be an easy goal to clear. My next goal here is actually to get this $700 up to over $1,000 by the end of the year. I think this should be another goal that should be relatively easy to get to. If I invest $10,000 and I have about a 3% yield, and that would be on the low side of things, that would give me about $300 on its own. So I really expect that if I get to my $10,000 goal, I should also be getting to my $1,000 goal for my dividends. $1,000 is a nice milestone to hit, and I fully expect that I can make that happen probably I could probably hit it in sometime in the back half of 2021. And then lastly, my third goal is something that is probably the most difficult of the 3 by far, and I think is still something that I can attain, and that is 15% growth across all 3 portfolios. And what I mean by that is, like, sure, the long-term portfolio may not hit exactly 15%, but I'm hoping my aggressive portfolio, since it has more growth stocks in it, will see larger than 15% growth to make up some of the slack in my Roth IRA or my long-term, since both portfolios are more composed of dividend payers or blue chip, more stable stocks that aren't going to see as explosive growth as some of the ones in here. But you may say, well, your long-term portfolio is really growing. I mean, since July or early July, you're up almost 23% in just half a year. Well, you take into consideration that this has not been the average year. This is quite a extraordinary year in almost any regard. So this 23% is mostly due to me buying the dip that we've seen throughout the year, and then really took off in November, and then we've been riding it ever since. I expect 2021 for the most part to be a pretty stable year, to where we'll go back to that 10% average return that we've been seeing in the S&P 500. So if 10% is average, I'm going to aim to be above average, so 15% is my goal across all three portfolios. So maybe my long term will do 12%, my Roth IRA will do about the same, and then aggressive, I would hope for 20% or more. Really, I would almost hope for 25% if I'm being honest. It's aggressive for reasons, so I hope it plays to its name. So those are just a few of my investment goals for 2021. If you guys have some goals, like I said, feel free to share those in the comments. I'd like to compare, see if there's something maybe I should be aiming for that I'm not, or currently not thinking about. So that should wrap up this portfolio update. So I just have some final comments for this video as usual. If you'd like to sign up on M1 Finance, feel free to do so using the link down in the description. When you both create an account and make your first deposit, you will get $10 from them just for doing so. I highly recommend M1 Finance's brokerage, so feel free to check them out. If you enjoy my videos, enjoy my content, and you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I really appreciate all the support, and I'm constantly trying to grow the channel. So if you have any thoughts about me or investing, or really anything good or bad or anything in between, share those down in the comments. I always like to read your guys' feedback on what I can do, or anything that I can do to make things better for you guys. So these videos are for you, so I'm going to try to cater them towards my audience, whichever way they go. So and then last check out my Twitter poll to help me decide what stock I will be discussing on Thursday, so be looking out for that. And then as usual, the video will be coming out on Thursday. So that's about all I have for you guys. Again, I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone has a great New Year, and here's to 2021. So I'll catch you guys on Thursday.